Should I buy a home or should I rent? That is a question I am asked all the time. And my answer to that is it depends. It depends on each individual's unique circumstances. What I hope to discuss today are those things that one should consider before making such an important decision. An advantage of renting. One of the advantages is no maintenance is required. If the garbage disposal breaks or you need a plumber, getting maintenance could be as easy as calling your landlord. It's easier to move. If you've not settled into your career or believe that you might be relocating in the near future, it is much easier to go to a month-to-month lease than it is to sell your home. Depreciating asset. While home prices have stabilized and are rising in most housing markets, there's no guarantee that your home will increase in value over time. Disadvantages of renting. Your monthly payment can increase. Rents have been rising in many cities, so you may be facing an increase in your monthly housing payment as soon as your current lease ends. You don't build equity. When you rent, your housing payment provides you with a place to live, but will not provide you with an asset to sell when you are ready to move. You don't receive tax benefits. Homeowners can often deduct their mortgage interest payments and their property taxes from their federal income tax, which reduces the final cost of ownership. Renters cannot deduct any of their housing expenses. Remember to consult your tax professional when making any tax benefit decisions. You can't paint or remodel without the owner's approval. While some landlords are kind enough to let you paint your apartment or home, you have to get their permission. You have to consult them on the color. If you want to make any changes or upgrades in appliances or cabinets or such, you have to put your request in to the landlord or apartment manager. Advantages of buying a home. The first one is you can build equity. Historically, homes rise in value anywhere from 4 to 6% per year. Even if your home does not increase in value, though, you'll be building equity as you pay down your mortgage as long as your home maintains its value. You can take advantage of tax breaks for homeowners. Homeowners can often deduct their mortgage interest payments and property taxes when they itemize their federal income taxes. These deductions offset the costs of your housing. Again, remember to consult your tax professional. Housing payments will remain stable. If you choose a fixed rate mortgage, your principal and interest payments remain the same for the duration of the loan. However, your homeowner's insurance and property taxes may change. You may be able to use your home as an investment. If you buy a home and choose to leave it, you can rent it rather than sell it and generate income. This works best if you can cover your mortgage or more with rental payments. With this in mind, it pays to choose a home that will make a good rental property in the future. Settle in a community. Once you commit to owning a home, you are more likely to become involved in your community because you know you'll be there for years. You can get to know your neighbors, perhaps join a homeowners association, volunteer for projects that benefit the community or the local school. And the last one to consider is the freedom to decorate as you please. One of the joys of home ownership is the ability to change your environment to suit your tastes. Of course, if you live within a development with a homeowners association, you may have a little less freedom with your home's exterior, but you can still paint your kitchen purple if you like. Disadvantage of buying a home. One is that you have to pay for your own maintenance. As a homeowner, You must spend time and money keeping your home in good repair. You need to set aside funds for unexpected expenses, such as appliances that might break, a service contract on your furnace or air condition, or the need to replace the windows. Your home is an illiquid asset. If you would need to sell because of a job relocation or a change in your circumstances, you may not be able to sell your home as quickly as you would like for or get as much money as you want. You must pay property taxes. Property taxes can go up, making your home less affordable. Your home could lose value. As many people have learned the hard way, there's no guarantee that your home will increase in value over time. But buying a home requires a cash investment. If you need to use up your savings for down payment and closing costs and for the expenses of home ownership, that cash won't be available for other investments. Home ownership is mandatory if you have a mortgage. As a renter, renter's insurance is recommended but not required. Your lender requires you to insure your residence, and typically you have to pay those insurance premiums along with your mortgage payment. These are important questions to consider when you're making such an important decision. The first one is, how long do you expect to live there? While buying a home may be one of the most expensive investments you'll ever make, it also requires a major emotional investment. The days of buying a home and selling it for profit within a short period of time are pretty much over, except for those most savvy house flippers. If you're considering buying a home, be prepared to stay in it for 5 to 7 years or longer in order to recoup the cost of buying, to survive a questionable market, and to build equity. If you can't make that long term commitment, you're probably not ready for the responsibility of home ownership. Costs of buying. A big factor in the decision to buy or own is your local housing market. Check online to get an estimate of rental costs and purchase costs for your area, and check with a realtor, me, I would hope so, to learn about the neighborhoods and homes you might want to purchase. Most mortgage lenders are happy to work with first-time buyers and explain the mortgage process and pre-qualify you so that you know how much you can borrow. Be careful to consider how much you want to spend on housing and whether you are ready to make that long-term commitment. How to calculate costs. When you rent a home, you typically need to make a security deposit and pay a month or two of rent. As long as you take care of your home, you'll get your security deposit back when you move. But buying a home costs considerably more upfront money, which is why you need to stay in the home for a few years to build equity and earn a return on your investment. To start, you need cash for earnest money. When you make an offer on a home, usually between $500 to $1,000, or as much as 5% of the sales price, is asked for as earnest money. You also need to make a down payment of at least 3.5% for home of the home price with an FHA insured mortgage, or 5 to 20% with a conventional loan. On a $100,000 home, that will be at least $3,500. In addition to your down payment, you might have to pay some of the closing costs, usually 2 to 5% of the home price, depending on the local real estate market. Other costs of home ownership include moving costs, paying for inspections, such as home inspections, termite inspections, repairing or replacing appliances if necessary, and to furnish your new home. It's essential that you consider all these costs within the context of the cash you have available to you. The last thing you want, for example, is to live in an unfurnished home or one that is in need of repair or remodeling because you spent everything you had on funding the purchase of the home. The last one is, what are your future plans? While no one really knows exactly where they will be in 5 years, you should think carefully about your goals for your career and for your own personal life. If you hope to climb your career ladder, you may need to relocate to do so. Then renting may be the best option, unless you're certain you want to own investment property. If you're single and hope to be married, you need to think about a home purchase in terms of whether it will be comfortable for two people or a small family, or whether you will want to sell it or rent it out in a few years. If you are married and hope to start a family and thereby intend one spouse to work less or stop working altogether, make sure your housing budget can accommodate a reduction in income. Lastly, if you have an avocation that you love but costs money, such as golfing and skiing, make sure you keep that in mind when you create your house budget. Do you have the ability to finance a home purchase? If you're considering buying a home, your first step should be to meet with a lender to determine whether you qualify for a mortgage, and if so, how much you can borrow. Your ability to qualify depends on several major factors, such as length of job, how long you've been there, how long were you at the previous job, how much income you're making, things of that sort. It's about a 10-minute process, and they'll give you what's called a pre-approval letter, saying, "Hey, with your credit scores, we think that you can safely look at a house within this price range." Or they can come back and say, you know, Mr. and Mrs. X, at this time, we don't believe that we can get you a mortgage anywhere at these prices. But again, you have found out then you are actually being armed with information as opposed to assumptions. One final word. Buying a home is a major decision that should not be taken lightly. But when faced with rising rent and low mortgage interest rates that make purchasing more affordable, you should take the time to consider the pros and cons of both renting and buying. Long term homeowners, even those whose homes lost values during the recession, can build wealth that can be used to fund their retirement or pay for college. As long as you can comfortably afford your housing payments and are not emotionally prepared to commit to home ownership, buying a home can be a smart financial move. I ask that you discuss with your realtors on what your needs and your wants would be, and he could hopefully help you with the decision on whether you should buy or you should sell. But again, one last thing I want to leave you with is make an informed decision. It's such an important decision. Do not make an emotional decision, such, ooh, I have to buy that house because it's red and that's my favorite color. That's an emotional decision. Okay. But on the other hand, you said, ooh, I got to buy that house is because it's $50,000 less than appraised value and it has X, Y, and Z. That is an informed decision. This concludes our presentation on the pros and cons of buying a home versus renting a home. I hope you've enjoyed the information we set forth. And if you have any questions or any discussions on any of the issues, please feel free to call me at the numbers I've provided there. Even if you do not live within the state of Alabama or within my area, you're still welcome to call me up and discuss, and I can refer you to like minded individuals within your own local area that can better assist you in finding that home or, or selling that home that you presently have. Again, it's been a joy. Thank you, and God bless.